So let's go ahead and begin, and we're going to begin on our backs this morning. And we'll start with no music, and I'll tell you when to start the playlist. So we'll start on our backs, and go ahead and get the wiggles out. So you can wiggle your arms and your legs, your fingers and your toes. Maybe do a little bit of a stretch overhead. And then let your arms relax to your sides, wherever they're the most comfortable. And let's take a big breath in through your nose. Let it out through your mouth. Again, deeply inhale. Let it out. And then one more time, biggest breath. Send it out. And then gently let your lips seal. Begin your Ujjayi breath. Full and bright, in and out through your nose. Allowing there to be a slight narrowing at the base of your throat, a little bit of heat and warmth with your exhales. And then just begin using your breath as a tool to let go of whatever you brought with you to your mat today. Bring your awareness to the breath instead of all the other places that your mind could be. Take 3 more rounds of breath just to fully let go of all the distractions, all the expectations, or any worries that you might have. And then keep the breath flowing and just start to stretch the arms again overhead. Reach your fingers and your toes away from each other. Everything reaches over to one side, making a banana shape with your body. You can cross one ankle on top. Uncross, go to the other side. Banana shape, top ankle presses down. And then come back to center, release your arms by your sides. Bend your knees so your feet walk in pretty close towards your bottom and let all 10 of your toes face forward. And then take an inhale as you roll your spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Start by tucking your tailbone back so that you flatten the lower back. And then lift the tailbone up and roll 1 vertebrae at a time all the way up to your shoulder blades. Pause. And then exhale to slowly lower it back down. Again, 1 vertebrae at a time. Come all the way back to your tailbone. Little tilt forward of the pelvis. And then reverse. Tuck the pelvis back. Roll the hips all the way up. This time, float your arms overhead and stretch your fingers towards the back of your mat. Exhale, hips lower down, 1 vertebrae at a time. Hands come all the way back to the mat. Again, this time as you roll up, roll your heels off of your mat so you're on your tippy toes as the arms float up overhead. And then let's just stay here for a couple of breaths. Think about really scooping your tailbone under to stretch the tops of your hips or to start opening there. 1 more breath. And then lower your hips all the way down 1 vertebrae at a time. Let your arms come down and then allow your heels to come down last. Keep your left leg where it is. Bring your right knee into your chest. Give it a nice squeeze. And then pull it over towards your right shoulder for wind removing pose. And while the leg is here, point and flex your right foot. And draw a circle with the ankle in one direction. And then in your opposite direction. Bring your knee back to center. Take your ankle over your knee in a figure 4, and then bring your left leg in towards you any amount. So this can be a little bit with the foot on the mat. You can bring the leg in and grab behind your thigh, or a whole lot and wrap your hands around the front of your shin. If your elbow happens to touch your right thigh, just give it a little push so that you deepen the stretch on the outside of the right hip. Take 2 rounds of breath. One more. Release the hands from the leg. Keep the ankle crossed over the knee, and then let everything fall over to your left side. So you can cross the leg a little bit deeper if you like. The knee is over the knee, or you can keep the ankle over knee if that feels better. Extend your right arm to your side and let your gaze follow those fingertips. And the more that this knee and thigh is in line with your hip, the deeper the stretch will be on your lower side back. So give it one more breath here. And then take your time to unravel. Come all the way back onto your back. Uncross the legs, bring the right knee in for a little squeeze, and then return the right foot to your mat. And we'll switch sides. Let's pull the left knee into your chest. Hook the fingers on the front of the shin. Pull it deeply in and over towards your left shoulder. Hold it there as you point and flex your left foot, and then draw a circle with your ankle in one direction, and then in the opposite direction. And then pause. And then take the ankle over the knee. Left ankle over right knee. And then pause there. You can either keep the foot on the mat if you're already feeling quite enough over here on the outer hip and thigh. Bring the leg in towards you, grab behind your thigh, or hook the front of the shin. And again, if your elbow happens to touch the thigh, go ahead and just give it a little push to deepen the stretch behind your outer hip. Take 2 more breaths. And then take your time to release the hands from the leg. I'm going to plant your bottom foot down and then let the legs fall to your right side. You can either find a full wrap, bringing the knee over the knee, or keep the ankle crossed over the knee as the legs go right. Left arm goes to the side and gaze goes left. Again, find the space where you feel this the most, whether you need this in your lower back or your outer hip. Knee closer to chest, gets more outer hip, knee in line with the hips, more lower back. One more breath. And then take your time to unravel, come back onto your back. Bring the left knee into your chest one more time for a little squeeze. And then release both feet back to your mat. You can either just roll to one side to get yourself up to hands and knees, or if you'd like to bring the knees into your chest and rock and roll, feel free. Maybe there's 3 rocks, 2. And then 3, cross your ankles, plant your palms, and then step back to hands and knees. So if you haven't already started your playlist, you can go ahead and do that now. The palms are right under the shoulders and the knees are right under your hips. Take a breath in as your belly drops towards your mat and your gaze lifts towards the sky. And then stay for your exhale. Think about drawing the shoulders a little further back and bringing your heart a little further forward. And then on your next exhale breath, then we round the back. Gaze down at the mat and then see if you can go a little bit deeper. Maybe you come to fingertips, push the ground away from you and stretch between your shoulder blades. And then move with breath. Take an inhale, chest forward, gaze lifts. Exhale, belly in, round your back. 2 more rounds with breath. And then come back to a space in the middle of those two shapes and really firm your belly on all sides. So it's not just here at your belly button, but think about your obliques hugging inward, and then lengthen your chest straight out. Keep all of that same work in your torso as you take your right arm straight out in front of you and take your left leg straight back behind you. Let the leg be as high as your hip is. Let the arm be as high as your shoulder is. Take 2 rounds of breath. Try not to lean to your right side. Bend your left knee up like you're stamping on the ceiling, and then reach back with your right hand and grab the inner arch of your foot if possible. If that doesn't feel right in your body, just come to a skydiver shape with the arms. You can be here with the foot flexed. Press your foot into the ceiling, squeeze the shoulder back behind you, and if you have the foot, think about bringing your right ribs forward. 1 deep breath in, deep breath out. Release the foot, extend your arm and your leg, breathe in. And then exhale, the hand and the knee come down. Right away, tuck your toes, lift your knees into a hover, keep the belly firm and the chest long. Release, 2 knees to your mat. Again, firm the belly on all sides. Belly pulls in from the center and from the outsides. Take your left arm forward and your right leg back. Lift your leg as high as your hip. Lift your arm as high as your shoulder. Get long through the fingers and the toes. Minimize the lean over towards your left side. Keep everything balanced into your center. And then bend your right knee and either keep the leg here and open your arm into a cactus shape, or reach back and grab a hold of your foot. Press your foot up towards the ceiling, whichever version you have, and bring the left ribs forward. Keep the belly firm. You have 2 more breaths. Release the foot, extend your arm and your leg, and then release 2 hands to your mat, 2 knees to your mat. Right away, tuck the toes and hover the knees. Breathe in, breathe out. 1 more. Inhale, press your bottom towards the sky. Exhale, shift your weight back to downward facing dog. While you're here, paddle your feet out. Reach one heel down, bend your opposite knee. Switch sides with your exhale breath. Do that again, back and forth. And then take an inhale as we lift both heels nice and high. Bend the knees and either hop your feet to your hands or take a walk, bring the feet to the hands. And then once you get there, you can have the feet about hip width apart. Soften your knees so that you protect your back. Dangle your head and either interlace your forearms or reach the arms behind you, your choice. Bend one knee as you sway the body a little bit from side to side. And then release. Hands come towards your mat. The feet come either all the way together or somewhat close together. Soften the knees again if they're not already there, and roll yourself to standing 1 vertebrae at a time. Come all the way up and stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, bring your hands together at your heart space just for a moment of stillness and silence. Ground well through your feet. Let the breath flow evenly through the body. And if there's an intention that's calling you today, go ahead and spend a moment with that. And if there's not, just breathing and moving your body is so much and does so much for you and those around you. Full cleansing breath. Release everything out. Deeply inhale. And completely exhale. Seal your lips. Come back to your soothing Ujjayi breath. And then take an inhale as your eyes open, stretch your arms overhead. And then take a hold of your right wrist with your left hand and take a big side bend over towards your left side. And so take a couple of breaths here to play with the angle of the stretch. A little turn inward gives you a stretch on your lower side back. A little open upward gets more of your obliques and your intercostals. So do that for one more breath. Stay in a space that feels the best. And then release, rise all the way back up, switch. Grab the left with your right, stretch tall, and then up and over to your right side. Play with the rotation inward or open. Find the deepest stretch along your side. And then take an inhale as you re-rise. Separate your hands and bend your elbows. Find that cactus shape. And think about bending back from just your mid-ribs up. So the shoulders drop, the collarbones widen, the top of your sternum lifts up. And then keep your chest open, just drop your arms. Stretch the fingers towards your mat with a full breath. And then inhale, sweeps the arms towards the sky. Firm the belly, grow tall. Exhale, hinge at your hips as you fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Reach the chest forward through the arms. And then exhale to bend the knees. Plant your palms and step to a plank pose. Again, here's an opportunity to firm the belly on all sides. So we're not just looking for right here. It's all the way around like you're wearing a corset. Breathe in as you shift forward, and then drop your knees or not as you lower yourself to your belly for Chaturanga. Untuck your toes, and then come up for a low cobra. Exhale, lower softly down. Ease into it by lifting into a medium cobra. So whatever that feels like or looks like to you. And then exhale, reach forward as you come down. And then maybe to a full high cobra. Not quite ready for upward facing dog just yet. Keep the thighs down, soften your elbows. Bring the chest forward through the arms. And then draw the belly in to lift your hips. Sit back into child's pose. Keep the arms stretched as far forward as they can be. And then walk both hands to the front right corner of your mat. Plant your left hand on top of your right and stretch out at the diagonal as you root the left hip down. Same thing, other side. Walk two hands to your left. Right hand is on top and press the right hip down. Walk your hands back to center, tuck your toes under, lift the hips and thighs, come back to downward facing dog. 2 rounds of breath. Inhale as the heels rise and you bend both knees. Exhale as you pop or walk the feet to the hands. Halfway lift, grow long. Exhale, fold back to your legs. Rise and stand, reach your arms overhead. Gather your hands at your heart, deep breath out. Inhale, stretch long, grow tall. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, come up halfway, reach through. And then exhale to Chaturanga. Your favorite way, the hands come down and the feet go back. Your knees are welcome to be on or off of your mat. Chaturanga all the way to your belly or to a hover. Breathe in any amount of lift in your chest, whether a little cobra, a medium cobra, or a full up dog feels best. Exhale, lift your hips and go back to downward facing dog. Find 3 full rounds of breath. Let the breath be smooth, easy, and deep. One more. Inhale, lift the heels, bend both knees. Exhale, hop or walk the feet to the hands. Halfway lift, grow long. Forward fold, exhale. Rise and stand, inhale. Bring your hands to your heart, exhale. And then one more time, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch long, stretch tall. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. And then exhale to flow. Hands come down, feet step back, lower your favorite way. Breathe in to lift your chest. And then exhale to downward facing dog. Full deep breaths. One more. And then take an inhale, lift your right leg towards the sky, bend your knee, open your hip, do some wiggling around of your toes, your ankles, and your knees. And then keep the leg open. So you're still reaching the knee towards the ceiling, and then drop your left forearm to your mat, and lift a little bit more from the inner part of your right knee. Take a full inhale, and a full exhale. Rise back to two palms, square your hips, and step your foot all the way through between your hands. Drop your back knee down, and then let's go ahead and rise up. Bring your hands to your hips. Level your hips out. So this right hip wants to drop down, so it's in line with your left. And then give your tailbone a little bit of a scoop so you feel the stretch in the front of your left thigh. Bend forward deeply into your front knee, and then back out a little bit. You might want to scooch the foot forward, bend forward again, and then back out a little bit, and then go to your depth, what feels like your edge, and then we're just going to stay and breathe. So find what feels like as far as you can go and still be comfortable, and just hold the legs, breathe in with the arms, exhale to cactus, and through the mouth release. Keep the shape of the legs the same. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Again, cactus open, exhale. Two more like that, breathe in. Exhale. And last one, biggest breath yet. Inhale. Exhale, open. And then just stay. Keep the chest broad, keep the hips low, full breath. Inhale, stretch the arms towards the ceiling, and then open twist to your right side. So you stay upright, your arms are really long, and then just reach forward. Left hand comes down, free the right arm towards the ceiling as you lift your back knee, and then just pause. Spin the chest a little bit more towards the ceiling as you charge your back thigh up, full breath in. And then option to go to a kickstand for a side plank. You'll roll to the outer edge of your back foot and step your front foot halfway back. If you're going for more, you'll stack the 2 feet on top, lift the hips, stretch the top arm up, and then exhale, top arm reaches overhead, lengthen through your side. Inhale the top arm towards the sky, and then exhale, 2 palms to your mat. Breathe in, shift forward. Exhale, Chaturanga to lower. Breathe in, any amount of lift in your chest. And then exhale to downward facing dog. 2 deep breaths. One more. Take the left leg up, inhale, bend the knee, open your hip, do the wiggling of your toes, your ankles, and then your knees. Stay with the leg open, drop your right forearm towards your mat, and keep lifting through the inner left knee. Come back to 2 palms, square your hip, and step your foot forward and through between your hands. Drop your back knee down, and then rise up to your knee. Bring your hands to your hip, and again, level it out. So this left hip draws down this time so that you square with the right. Bend forward into the front knee, so you're kind of easing into the stretch, and then back out. Then again, a little bit deeper. Maybe you move the foot forward, and then back out. And one more time, and this time you stay. So you're going to what feels like your edge, where you're feeling some openness here, but you're not to the point of pain or discomfort. And so the legs are going to stay as they are. Reach forward and up with an inhale. Through the mouth, cactus the arms. And again, big scoop up. Cactus open. 2 more. Big breath. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. And then just stay. Keep the chest opening. Keep the hips opening. And then inhale, stretch your arms back towards the ceiling from the belly. Open twist to your left side this time. So you stay where you are with the legs and you're opening and keeping the arms lifted. Full breath in. And then lean forward. Plant the right hand on the inside of the foot. Lift your back knee as you stretch the left fingers towards the sky. Keep spinning your chest towards the ceiling as you charge your back leg. And then we're stepping back to that side plank. So the first option is to roll to the outer arch of your back foot and step the left foot halfway back. Stretch the top arm up. Second option, you'll stack the 2 feet on top. Top arm still reaches up, full breath. And then take your top arm overhead and really lengthen through the side. Reach through the fingertips. Arm comes back towards the ceiling, and then you plant 2 palms to your mat. Knees are down or up. Chaturanga, exhale. Breathe in to lift. And then exhale to press back. 2 rounds of breath. Inhale to lift both heels, bend the knees, either hop your way forward or walk your way forward. The feet step to the hands. Come up halfway, stretch the chest long. Fold forward, deep breath out. Rise and stand, inhale, 2 arms reach up. And then exhale, gather your hands to your heart. Sit into Utkatasana chair pose, and if you have a block, have it towards the front of your mat. So you're lowering from the tops of your thighs, trying to keep your weight centered over the midfoot. Arms come forward and up, inhale. And then 4 times cactus the arms, exhale. Again, inhale, reach up. Exhale. Can you go lower in your legs? Breathe in and out. One more time, the lowest you can with your thighs. And then inhale, press to stand, arms float up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, lengthen. And then we'll keep your right foot where it is. Step your left foot, not all the way to the back of your mat, but let's say about 3/4. Swivel your heel down, and we want the feet to be in their own lanes of traffic. So if you had a line going down the middle of your mat, you would have a foot on either side of that line. And then go ahead and bend the front knee to rise up. So these are pyramid legs. Take the hands to your hips and steer the hips in the direction of the forward. Right hip draws back, tailbone draws under, and then you can take your pick for your arms. You can keep the hands here on your hips, or you can bring 2 fists together on your back. If your shoulders are pretty open this morning and you'd like to come to reverse prayer, you can bring the palms together behind your back. All right, so your choice on the arms. Find what's comfortable and then take a breath in, lift from the top of your head and then lean forward. And then just for a moment, stop when your shoulders and your hips are in the same line. Firm the belly. Push down through the ball of your front foot. And so hopefully you're feeling some work on this front thigh, probably your right booty, that's good. And you have 1 more breath. Okay, keeping the shoulders back as much as you can. Go ahead and start to round and fold any amount. But do try and keep the ball of the foot pushing into the front foot so your calf is active and your knee is safe. Keep the shape of the body. Release your hands towards your mat. And then inhale, come up halfway. If you have that block, you're going to place it now either on the inside or the outside of your foot. That's up to you which one you want to go with. And then lengthen your spine forward. You'll place your left hand on your block, whether it's on the inside or the outside of the foot, and then bring your right hand to your right hip. Spin around. And then you'll want to press your right hip back. And you'll notice as you do, you lengthen out through your right side. That's what you want. And let's keep the right side long, reach the chest forward, and then start to spin from your bottom shoulder. If that's going well, you'll take the top arm and reach it towards the ceiling. Keep your back foot well grounded. Keep the belly firm and imagine rotation versus side bends. One more breath. Place your top hand to your hip just for support, and then take your left hand forward of your left shoulder. Lift your left leg towards the ceiling, and stop when it gets to be about hip height. Again, if that's going well, you'll free the top arm up towards the ceiling. And then still going well, you might bend the knee, flex your foot, and then grab a hold of the foot and press back and up. So just like you did in your hands and knees, keep reaching the chest long and open. One more breath. Release the foot if you have a hold of it. Stretch the arm upwards. And then steer your chest forwards. Bring the right hand to your chest. So we're going to try and keep this right hand off the ground. Of course, if you need to put it down, please do. Stand on your right leg and bring your left leg with you to one-legged mountain pose. And then take your left ankle over your right knee. Sit down into a figure 4 chair. The hands are welcome to come to the mat, or they're welcome to stay at your heart and challenge your strength and balance. You have one more breath. Inhale, 2 arms reach towards the sky. Lift your leg back to that one-legged mountain, and then step back to Crescent Lunge. Hands come to your heart. Back foot goes all the way to the back of your mat. Bend the front knee quite a bit and sink your hips nice and low. One deep breath. Inhale, free the arms, come all the way up. Exhale, open twist. Reach forward, plant the left hand down, reach your right hand up. You're back in that lunge. And then one more time, side plank on this side. You can step the right foot halfway back, spin your toes to face the long edge, or all the way back, 2 feet stacked together. Lift your hips, stretch your top arm up, and maybe the top arm goes over. One full breath. Inhale, the arm rises. Exhale, 2 hands to your mat. Breathe in, shift your weight forward. Exhale, Chaturanga, lower. Inhale, lift your chest. And then exhale, press all the way back. 2 rounds of breath. Smooth, easy, and deep. And then again, lift the heels and bend the knees. Hop or walk, feet come forward. Halfway lift and fold. Rise and stand. Hands gather together. So notice where your feet are, make sure that they're well grounded. And then we'll sit back into chair pose, bend the knees, get low from the thighs. Reach your arms forward as they come up. And then again, notice if you're shifting your weight towards your toes or too much onto your heels, try and be right in the center of your foot. Breathe in, through the mouth, cactus the arms. 3 more like that, breathe in, and cactus open. Can you go lower with your legs? And then one more time, lowest yet in the legs. Inhale, straighten your legs, straighten your arms, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. And then bend the knees, get the hands to your mat, and step your right foot back this time so your left foot is in front. So it's like 3/4 of the way back, and swivel the heel down. Bend the knee enough so that you can bring the hands to the hips, and then you rise. So again, check out your feet. That line is down the middle of your mat. Your feet are on either side of it, so they're in their own lanes of traffic. Left hand on left hip, pull it back. Steer the hips forward, and then draw the tail slightly under so the belly firms in. Pick your placement for your arms. Hands are at the hips, 2 fists behind your back, or find that reverse prayer behind your back as well. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, hinge. And then just for today, we're stopping right at hip height. So you can think about the shoulders and the hips being in the same line, and then from there, think about firming your belly up and in so that you're stable and strong. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Push through the ball of your front foot so your calf is active. Keep the knee soft so that you can really activate your thigh. And then keep the legs this active as you start to fold any amount down. Your back foot is still rooted and grounded. Keep the shape of the body, just release your hands towards your mat. Inhale, come up halfway, and then again grab your block, either inside or outside of your foot, or whatever you're using as a block. With the spine really long, the right hand comes onto your prop or onto your mat or onto your shin. Take your left hand into your left hip. So our tendency is to kind of like side bend the body. I don't know if you guys can see that, where the shoulder comes towards the hip. We want to keep length in our obliques by drawing the thigh bone back and reaching the chest forward. And then from there, you can rotate the spine. The hand can either stay here on the hip or reach up towards the ceiling. 2 more rounds of breath. See if you can keep pushing this back and spinning your left chest up. And then take your top arm and just place it down just for support. Look down. Step your right hand forward of your right shoulder. Shift your weight forward so that you can lift your back leg again to about hip height. If that's going well, you'll take your top arm and reach it back up towards the ceiling. Pause for 3 rounds of breath. And then if you went for it on the other side, you'll bend the knee, capture your foot, press your foot back and up, and spin that left chest back and up. 2 rounds of breath. Release the foot if you have a hold. Pause. Spin your chest towards the ground. Bring your left hand to your heart. Hold. We're going to stand on the left leg. Bring your right leg to a tabletop. 2 hands to your heart. Full inhale. Deep exhale. Ground. Inhale, 2 arms reach towards the sky, and then exhale, ankle over knee chair. So the ankle comes over the knee, you sit down into a chair. Either keep the arms lifted to challenge strength and balance, or bring the hands down for a little more stretch. 2 rounds of breath wherever you are. And then take your time. If your hands are on the mat, come all the way back up. Inhale back to one-legged chair, one-legged mountain pose. And then hands to your heart, step back into Crescent Lunge. So the foot goes all the way to the back of the mat this time. Keep the hands at your heart as you bend the back knee quite a bit. So you're looking for a little more stretch in your psoas on the right side. And then take an inhale, reach 2 arms up towards the sky, full breath. And then open twist to your left again. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, the hand comes down, left arm reaches up. And then options again for your side plank. You can step the foot halfway back, spin the toes to the side, or stack the feet. Left arm lifts towards the sky, full breath. Stretch the arm overhead, lengthen through your side. Inhale the arm towards the sky, and then exhale, 2 hands down, 2 feet back, Chaturanga lower. Breathe in to lift your chest. And then exhale, press everything back. 2 rounds of breath. One more. And then take an inhale, shift your weight forward, lower yourself all the way down onto your belly. And then from here, we'll open the arms into a cactus shape, bend your knees up. So we'll all do skydiver to start with, flex your feet. Push your feet into the ceiling so you're hovering the knees off of your mat and give your tailbone a little scoop so the belly is in. And then lift your upper body, bend your elbows and squeeze the shoulders back. 2 breaths. One more. Lower softly down, keep the knees bent though, and then draw big circles on the ceiling with your feet. Okay, so from here you can do this one again, lifting the body just as it is, or shift into Dhanurasana bow. You'll reach back and grab a hold of your feet. Feet or ankles. I prefer my ankles most days because then I can flex my feet and that activates my calf so that my whole leg is working. Squeeze the knees together wherever you are. Press your feet back and up. And then skydivers, you'll squeeze the shoulders and the elbows back. And bows, think about pressing the feet back to open your chest. You have 2 rounds of breath. Lower softly down, look over at one side, arms are by your sides. Do the swaying of the legs from side to side. Okay, so this next one is really helpful with a block. So if you have a block, you're going to take it and put it horizontally between your feet. So the short ends are touching your ankles. If you don't have a block, that's fine. You'll just flex the feet as if there is one there, and you'll rotate the legs together as one. So if you have the block, you're trying to really squeeze it with your lower leg, and then we'll all open the arms into a cactus shape. And then rotate your body to your right side, so you're lifting your left side of your body, and then relax your head down. If that's too much on your shoulder, you're welcome to straighten your arms straight out in a T instead. So it'll look like that on the other side. One more breath. Slowly return the legs all the way back to your mat. Again, make sure that everything is stable, the block is even, and then cactus the arms. So this is a little more intense for the shoulders, so if you prefer a little less, you can extend the arm to the side like a T, and then when you're ready, roll over towards your left side. And then the right hand can just be down for support, or you can wrap it behind your back. Deep breaths. Take your time, come all the way back onto your belly. Remove the block if you have one. And then just stack your palms and do the little swaying with your legs. And then one more thing here on our tummies. We'll bend the knees. Widen your knees as wide as they can go, so about mat width. Bring your feet together and then let the feet come towards your mat. So kind of like a reverse Baddha Konasana. Keep your tailbone pressed under. So the tendency is to want to like pop your butt up. Keep your tailbone really scooped down so you open up the fronts of your hips. You have 2 rounds of breath. Stay with it. Bend your knees up, wiggle the feet all the way back together, knees as well, and then hands come underneath your chest. Straighten your legs, lift, and sit back into child's pose. The arms stay lifted just like before, and then walk both hands over to your front right corner of your mat. Only this time, it's the right hand that's on top of the left palm turns to face up, and the right hand goes on top, and then you push. You're still grounding through your left hip. And then take your time, walk it over to the other side. It's the right palm that goes up this time. The left hand goes on top. Push away from you as you sit your right hip down into your mat. Deep breaths. And then walk both hands to center. Pause for one breath in child's pose. Walk the hands underneath you and rise up to a seat. And then just have a seat over to one hip and bring the legs around in front of you. So we're going to set up for a couple of variations of Gomukhasana. So you can straighten, we'll start with the left leg and we'll take the right ankle over the left knee. So figure 4 again. And then we'll just sit up nice and tall. The hands come by your sides, press your chest long, and then lean forward any amount. If it's available for you to walk the hands forward without collapsing the chest, go ahead. If it's comfortable to grab your foot, go ahead and do that as well. We have one more breath. Release the foot, rise all the way back up to a seat. So you'll keep the ankle over the knee cross. Take the hands back behind you. Fingertips either facing you or slightly turned out if that's better for your shoulders. And then if this is enough work, you stay. You can go a little further by bending the knee, bringing the foot to the ground, or even further, chest opener and hip opener, press into your foot, lift your hips. This might be better from this side. Lower the hips all the way back down if they've lifted. And then you'll take the bottom foot and drop it under. And then you can either sit into, this is kind of like an Ardha Matsyendrasana seat, if that's most comfortable in your hips, or you can take it to a full Gomukhasana where the knee is stacked over your bottom knee. You flex both feet really strong. And to start with, we're focusing on the hip part of this pose. You'll take the hands into your thighs and ground them well. Lift your sternum high. And then add a little bit of a lean forward, and that'll really open out your external rotators. And then inhale as you restack. Keep your legs the same if you're comfortable, and then take your left arm towards the sky. Bend your elbow, the palm comes behind you. Grab the outside of the arm and give it a nice pull. And I know some teachers do it with the opposite arm. I like it this way because I feel more balanced on the other side. So give it a try this way just for today. Breathe in. And then if it's available, you can release the right arm, reach back behind you, and maybe you hook hands. Do try and keep both shoulders back into their sockets. One more breath. Release the arms to the side and then just push away. And then bring both hands over to your left side and drop them down and just bow. So you'll keep the legs as they are, keep the right hip rooting, and then you're walking your hands out to the side for a lower back stretch. And then unravel, come back to center, uncross the legs, send the legs forward. Sway the legs from side to side. And then we start again other side. So you'll sit up nice and tall, and then it'll be the left leg that bends this time. You'll take the ankle over the knee. Flex both feet, and then lengthen upwards. Lean forwards. So if that feels like enough, you're going to stay right here with this. If you're going on, you'll walk the hands forward. You might even choose to grab your foot. Wherever you are, keep the spine as long as possible so the breath can stay smooth and open. Take an inhale, release your feet. If you have a hold, and then rise up to a seat. Plant the hands behind you. If you're feeling enough right where you are, please stay as you are. If you're going on, you'll bend your right knee. The foot comes towards you. And then even further still, you'll have the hands either fingertips facing you or slightly turned out. Shoulders are into their sockets, and then press down to lift up. Let the hips come to about knee height if possible, and about shoulder height. Breathe in, expand your chest. And then lower the hips all the way back down. You can either come to an Ardha Matsyendrasana seat, so you'll just take your bottom foot and tuck it under, like so, and so then the foot comes flat to the mat, or shift to a full Gomukhasana legs. So the knees will stack on top of one another. We'll keep both feet really flexed, and then hands to your hip creases. Press your thigh bones down so that you can lift from above. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, lean, or just imagine yourself leaning forward. If it's available to walk the hands in front, go ahead. You have one more breath here. And then when you're ready, you'll rise all the way back up. So we'll keep the legs if you're comfortable staying, and then we'll take the right arm up towards the sky and bend the elbow. Grab the outside of the upper arm and give it a nice pull to stretch. And if your shoulders feel open enough to reach back and hook fingers, feel free. Just make sure that this left shoulder tucks back behind you once you get the arm behind your back. If you're able to keep the spine long and lean forward, feel free. Take 2 rounds of breath. And then take an inhale as you rise all the way up. Release your hands out to the side, and then just give the earth a little push away from you. We'll bring 2 hands over to your right side and plant them down. So we're still keeping this left hip grounded down towards your mat, and then walk your hands any amount that way towards your right side, and what we're looking for is that stretch. And then take your time to unravel, come all the way back up. Uncross your legs and send them out in front of you. Give them a little bit of a wiggle and a shake. Move them from side to side. And then from here, bring the legs in towards one another. Bend the knees and tap your toes down for support. Lift your chest up and stretch your arms forward. So we'll do a couple of rounds of core work here. You can stay with this shape and then just lean back a couple inches and then lift your sternum up. If you want a little bit more challenge, hover the feet off of your mat and again lean back and lift up. Even more of a challenge, the legs go straight and it's down and up. So your choice for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Plant your feet down, but let them go wide of your mat, and then lower yourself all the way down onto your back. Stretch your arms overhead with a full breath. Exhale, lift your upper body, reach your fingers in between your legs. Inhale, stretch your arms all the way back, full breath. Exhale, lift up and rise. 2 more. Exhale. 1 more. Exhale. And then inhale, stretch all the way back. The arms stay overhead. You can bring the toes to face forward. They can stay this wide, or they can bring themselves a little bit closer together so they're more hip width. And then lift your hips up, come back to that easy bridge pose. If it feels good to lift your toe or lift your heels so you're on your tippy toes, feel free. And then let the heels come down, let your hips lower all the way to your mat, release your arms by your sides. Do a little bit of swaying of the legs. And then come back to center with the legs. The feet are again facing forward. They're about hip width, the knees are bent. Lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Lift your heels so you're on your tippy toes. And you can keep your arms down this time. It might be helpful to grab the outer parts of your mat. Take a full breath. And then put just your left heel down so you have your right heel up. If this feels like enough work for your left glute, you're just going to stay with this work. If you're going for more, you'll actually hover the right leg to a table, or maybe you even flex the foot, push it into the ceiling. Lift up, breathe in, and then breathe out. Bend the knee, place your foot back down, heels are down, and then hips are down. A little sway. And then you have one more on the other side. Again, the feet are well grounded, they're neutral. Lift your hips. Lift your heels. Grip the mat. Sometimes it feels nice and stable to try and separate the mat apart to the sides. And then we'll just put the right heel down so that your left heel is still lifted. If that's enough work, you stay right here. This is a lot of work on the right glute. If you're going for more, you'll lift the leg to a table. Even more, you'll straighten the leg and flex your foot. Push into the ceiling, hold it, breathe in. Bend your knee, replace the foot. 2 heels come down, 2 hips come down. Feet go wide of your mat, and then do the swaying from side to side with the legs. And then take this into your favorite twist. So wherever that is, that might be crossing the legs or keeping them open. Everything goes to the right side as you gaze to your left. And then switch. Everything goes to your left, gaze goes to your right. And then come all the way back to center. Give your knees one more little squeeze, one more hug. A little sway on your back, a little circle. And take a full breath in. Maybe you bring your knees and your nose together. And then exhale, release everything. Release your breath through the mouth. Release your legs towards your mat. Release your arms by your sides. Let this shape be whatever is most comfortable for your body right now. It might be flat on your back. That might be with your legs up on the couch. If you have a couch nearby, just put the legs straight up on there. That feels really nice. Maybe you choose to just have the knees bent and together, or any other shape that feels right. Let your eyes soften and close. Let the breath soften into something easy and effortless. And if any of those thoughts that you came in with today came back, take the time to let each one go, leaving you a little bit lighter and more at peace. If you'd like to continue resting, please stay as long as you can. If you're ready to come back, start with small movements in your hands and your feet. Stretch like you're just waking up today. And then roll over to one side, your favorite side. Press yourself up to a comfortable seat. Eyes can stay closed as hands meet your heart. And let's come together for one more cleansing breath. Release everything through your mouth. Take a full breath in. Let everything go. And then let your lips reseal. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. Thank you all so much for joining me this morning, for sharing your beautiful energy, and for sharing your beautiful practice. It's truly my honor to guide you. Namaste.